In the headlines, explosion kills residents, others injured in Kano. EFCC arrests Accountant General of the Federation over alleged 80 billion naira fraud. Normalcy gradually returning to Sokoto as state government relaxes curfew. Away from Nigeria, EU defense ministers gather in Brussels to discuss Ukraine. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. Now the details. An explosion has occurred in Sabongari area of Kano State Tuesday, according to a release by the Kano State Commissioner of Information, Malam Muhammadu Garba. The incident happened at an animal feed store opposite a school along Abba Road, Sabongari. He said while the cause of the incident and the damage is yet to be ascertained, investigation has since commenced. He called on the people of Kano, especially those living around the area, to stay calm and desist from spreading unsubstantiated information. Kano State Police Commissioner Samaila Dikko visited the scene in Sabongari and said the explosion was caused by a gas cylinder and not a bomb. Daily Trust Bureau Chief in Kano, Clement Oloyede, joins us via phone to give an update on the situation. Hello, sir. Hello, Clement.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, so let's have a sense of what exactly is happening. I understand that you are at the scene of this explosion. What's the update so far?
Hello.
What do we know? What do we know about the explosion so far there? Hello, Clement.
Hello.
Hello, Clement. If you can hear me, what's the update on the situation at the scene now?
Currently, the situation is still tense in the area, but at the moment, the police are executing the investigation to gas in the explosion. That is the official police position at the moment, and the casualties have been rescued or have been taken away from the place. Currently, 2 but the rescue operation is still ongoing. I'm speaking on and the operation is still going on to rescue some people that are believed to be trapped under rubble. And contrary to the report going on that the school was attacked, it was not the explosion did not happen at the school, but in front of a building, in front of the building that collapsed beside the school. And it is believed that the welder in front of the school might be the equipment might be the one responsible for the explosion according to the police. So the explosion affected some part of the school in the sense that the glasses shattered, and in the commotion that ensued, the pupils, because they are not the school students, they are looking for a way of escaping the place. And if you see some of the videos that have been trending online with some of the pupils covered in dust, the dust is not from their school, it's from the building beside the school that collapsed as a result of the explosion. And currently, almost all the schools in Sabongari are closed because of the report that went around. People thought it was the school that was attacked, and everybody, all parents have been going around to withdraw their children from schools. Business activities also at standstill. Everyone is just sitting down in front of their shops and waiting for update on what is happening. But at the moment, it's still a very, very gory thing. The building that collapsed is a story building, a single-story building, and the school, which is also standing beside the building that collapsed, is also a story building. But as I'm saying, contrary to the report, the school was not attacked. The school is still standing firm. The glasses were shattered, that has been established. And we cannot ascertain if any of the pupils were victims of the explosion at the moment. But from videos that trended immediately after the explosion before we got to the scene, we noticed that the pupils were covered in dust, and some of them have blood splatter on their body, which could be from the glasses that shattered. But so far, we have not been able to establish if there's any casualty among the pupils of the school. which is just like I said, is the building closest to the one that collapsed.
Okay. All right. Now, how would you assess the emergency response from, the government authorities, the relevant government agencies responsible for responding to these emergencies?
Okay. Before I give the response observation, for those that are familiar with Kano, the Kano is a very, very busy environment. A lot of commercial activity going on at the same time, which makes almost all the streets very, very difficult to access. Even without any emergency issue, it's always difficult to access most of these roads. But when we got to the scene of the incident, the first call we had about the explosion was reported around, at the moment there's gunshot. There's gunshot, people are running at that sector. I think the security people are trying to catch people. Can you hear me?
Okay, so I just get somewhere safe.
Yes, people are running towards me. I've already left the place. I think it's just the security that are shooting to disperse the crowd because the crowd is gathering, and there are already reports that some hoodlums are taking advantage of the situation to break into people's shops. So
Okay.
that's what is happening at the moment. So back to like what I think for now, the gunshot has subsided. The military are on ground, the NSCDC are on ground, police are on ground.
Okay, so the gunshots is as a result of the hoodlums trying to take advantage of the situation, or what?
It's possible because I'm just a few meters away from where the evacuation is taking place, but because of the crowd there, that was why I actually have to leave the place because the place is noisy. Most of the people there, they are not allowing the security to do their work. Earlier when I was there, the people even stoned some of the security officers that were trying to restore order in the place. So because of that, I'm assuming it's because of the crowd in the place now that the police are shooting. And obviously because of also reports that hoodlums are taking advantage of the situation, maybe the police want to disperse the crowd entirely so as to restore some sanity in the area. People are, at the moment, they are stoning the security officers, and they are running.
Oh.
But the security have already taken control of the situation. They are taking control of the situation. They have been able to clear the area, and they are trying to send away the people as I'm talking to you right now. So that is the...
Okay, so but in the midst of this chaos, how possible is it for rescue operations to go on?
Yeah, it is very difficult, but it has been taking place. While I was there some few minutes earlier, when they were able to rescue one of the persons from the rubble, the ambulance had some difficulty moving the place in the first place. But after the security cleared the place, the ambulance was able to move. But like I said, the road where the incident took place is called Fort Road. For those of familiar with Kano, Fort Road is the road that passed in front of the popular Sabongeri market. It's always a very, very busy area. People are still running.
All right. Okay.
I'm trying to get a clear location.
Okay, so we would get back to you. Please stay safe, and we'll get back to you later for more updates. Please stay safe. All right, that was Clement Oloyede, the Daily Trust's Kano Bureau Chief, joining us to give an update on the explosion that we are learning about in Kano. Now, moving on, Nigeria's Accountant General Ahmed Idris has been arrested over alleged money laundering and diversion of public funds. Malam Idris was intercepted in Kano by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Monday evening and is flown to Abuja, the nation's capital, for interrogation. The EFCC has for some time now been investigating a case of diversion of at least 80 billion naira in public funds, which was allegedly laundered through some bogus contract. Investigators said that the companies used in laundering the funds have allegedly been linked to family members and associates of the Accountant General. Normalcy is gradually returning to Sokoto as the state government relaxes the 24-hour curfew. With relaxation, residents can now move between 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening. Trust TV correspondent Idris reports that markets and businesses within the state capital are being reopened with security operatives on patrol to enforce compliance with the order.
Well, the dust and anxiety generated here in Sokoto State is gradually being settled following the state government decision to relax the curfew from 24 to 12 hours. Now, as you can see, activities, businesses and markets are being reopened and people are moving as usual, even though by 6 o'clock everywhere will be closed down again until 6 o'clock in the morning. But look at what is happening in Sokoto. People have come out in mass today, unlike yesterday. And in most places that we've visited, we've seen markets, businesses, and all other activities are returning to normal. Recall that this situation was generated as a result of a blasphemy statement that was said to have been committed by a student of Shehu Shagari College of Education. Now, earlier today, we visited the school to see what's happening, even though the school is still closed, and security operatives were deployed at the gate of the school to ensure that nobody is going in or out of the school. And we've seen what happens at the school, and actually a lot of places were set on fire, even though we are not allowed to film within the school environment, but we were able to see the gate of the school premises. So generally activities are being returning in Sokoto, and people are moving as usual. Now, people are still asking for the state government to see how they can be able to completely remove the curfew so that things will return normal. And people are saying that those who were arrested on the allegation of this killing of the students should be released. And the government is saying that they have no reason whatsoever to take laws into their hand. They should have allowed the state government to investigate and properly punish late Deborah. But that being said, Deborah is dead, and the people in Sokoto State here are now being asked to remain at home for 24 hours as against 14 hours. I will continue to watch over the situation and see what will happen in the next 24 hours or so. Maybe the state government will finally remove the curfew. And the police is saying that investigation is still ongoing to see how they can be able to apprehend the other suspect. Meanwhile, I've been talking with some sources within the Nigeria police force who are telling me that the principal suspect, who is said to have been killed the lady, is nowhere to be found. They said he's not a Nigerian, he's a Nigerian, and they are searching for him, and there is a possibility of deploying Interpol to search for him within the Niger Republic. Or whatever the case may be, that has been done, but situation is generally improving here in the commercial city of Sokoto.
Moving on now to political matters. As primaries of political parties draw closer, presidential aspirants have continued to solicit the support and votes of delegates from Kaduna State. The latest is the immediate past Transport Minister, Rotimi Amechi, who turned in his resignation letter Monday afternoon. Fatima Saleh-Laden has more.
As primaries of political parties draw closer, presidential aspirants have continued to solicit the support and votes of delegates from Kaduna State. The latest is the immediate past Transport Minister Rotimi Amechi, we gathered, turned in his resignation letter Monday afternoon. Amechi said, as the youngest and the most experienced among the party's presidential aspirants, he is more qualified for the job than others.
I may be 56, one of the youngest aspirants, but I'm the most experienced. Most experienced, govern a state that had insecurity like Kaduna. I don't know how many of you remember those days that you can't visit Port Harcourt. All of you were scared of coming to Port Harcourt because of the level of insecurity. So I have had experience of governing a state where there was insecurity.
The ex-minister also responded to questions on the Kaduna-Abuja train attack, with about 62 passengers still in captivity.
I join every person in cabinet to own up to the fact that we may have failed. But we did our best as a government to ensure that lives and property on the road were saved. We did our best. So those who have been kidnapped, the federal government is doing quite a lot to get them released. But security is not discussed in the public glare. Security is done privately and quietly until these people are released. You may not hear much. I join those parents who are not happy to request that they can until the government is able to get those people who are in captivity released.
From the opposition, the People's Democratic Party, one of the contenders, Peter Obi, whose campaign train was in Kaduna, says the current administration has failed the country through mismanagement of resources, adding that it is time to turn the country from a consumption to production economy.
The money we borrowed and consumed or thrown away, if we are taking just 10% of it, 5% of it and thrown to the textile industry, Nigeria would have been a different place. We can earn more money from exporting textiles and garments than we earn from oil. Oil is just giving us $15 billion, so we can do more. All you need to do is to remove Nigeria from consumption to production.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has set June 3rd as the deadline for the conduct of party primaries in the country. Fatima Salaladen, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, a look at issues concerning family planning. Details and more after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Here's a look at our top stories again. Residents have been killed, others injured in Kano explosion. EFCC has arrested Accountant General of the Federation over 80 billion naira fraud. Moving on, the federal government on Monday said the Abuja-Kaduna train service will resume on Monday 23rd. Train services had been suspended on the route after terrorists attacked a train, fatally shot several persons and abducted scores of passengers in March. In a statement signed by spokesperson Yakubu Mahmood, the Nigerian Railway Corporation said that the decision to resume services does not mean efforts to secure the safe release of those abducted will be put on hold. The families of those abducted have threatened to resist the reopening of the train service. In the statement, the NRC said that customers must present a valid photo identification card and a reachable telephone number of next of kin or close relative before boarding a train. Family planning is a decision by couples to space or limit childbearing to ensure population control, healthy productive process and proper care for children. Despite being a decision for individuals on both partners, male participation has over time been low due to some certain biases. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu takes a look at men's perception about family planning methods developed for the male gender.
Increased access to family planning services is one of the commitments of the Federal Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization to ensure safer families. With Nigeria's growing population, unsafe traditional contraception practices, stakeholders say childbearing should be by choice rather than by chance. Modern methods have now been deployed to ensure men who intend to limit childbearing take charge of the family planning process.
So there's a method for men and there are methods for women. And apart from some experimental methods that are, being looked at now at commercial purposes for men, like what we call the vasogel. The vasogel is an experimental method that is still not very widely used, but the concept is to under, vision, maybe an ultrasound, inject a gel into the male vas deferens. That's the tube that transports sperm, from the testis. It's called the vas deferens. So they inject the gel, and once the gel is injected, it hardens. They're also looking at a reversible type of vasogel, but for the meantime, vasogel is non-reversible. Then there are other ones. There's a tablet called Gossipol that is still being experimented for men, but the normal, well-known male method is a permanent method, one of the permanent methods, or the non-reversible methods known as vasectomy.
However, biases such as possible irreversibility of some modern contraceptive methods for men and the age-long vasectomy have continued to dissuade men from participation.
For me, personally, I don't think that one is advisable because we have a regulation that is going on already for the women, and there are several methods of doing that family planning from the women.
Men and women, I think the best bet should be self-discipline. Self-discipline, because nobody is pushing you.
Experts say contraceptive methods like vasectomy are safe as opposed to popular opinions.
When you are considering family planning, you are looking at two options. Are you spacing or are you limiting? Now, if you are spacing, it means that you want to have children, still want to have children, but you want to have them at particular intervals or time difference, then you are spacing. But if you are limiting, it means that you've had the number of children you want to have and you don't want to go ahead to have any other child. Then you can consider permanent methods. The one for the male is vasectomy.
Nigeria looks forward to achieving access to sexual and reproductive health, including family planning, information and education, and the integration of reproductive health into national strategies and programs by the year 2030.
The FCT Police Command has arrested 3 suspects in connection with murder of one Terungwa Stephanie, a 26-year-old corps member deployed to City Homes Estate, Lokogoma in Abuja. Stephanie, who reportedly left home on April 14 in her NYSC uniform, was declared missing and later found dead on April 27. The arrest was made following the deployment of tactical and intelligence assets at the command's disposal, attached to the Homicide Department of the State Criminal Investigations Department. The suspects were paraded at the FCT Police Command in Abuja. Trust TV's Mardia Umar was there.
At a press briefing, the FCT Police Commissioner, Babaji Sunday, stated that the trial of Jennifer Sembe, a 26-year-old lady, Monday Simon, aka Black, and Solomon Abu, both male, aged 36 and 35, all residents of Maitama area of FCT, confessed to the crime.
Discreet and painstaking investigation by tactical and intelligence assets of the command attached to the homicide section of the State Criminal Investigation Department, State CID, led to the arrest of 3 suspects, all residents of Oguta Lake, Maitama area of the FCT, who criminally conspired and murdered the victim to separate her from Edward Achadu, so that Jennifer Sembe, one of the suspects, an estranged lover of Edward, could have him all to herself, especially for pecuniary benefits.
The suspects speak on the involvement in the alleged murder of the corps member.
My own work day is just tie the gear and go. Then as I tie the gear with my friend Jaru, where he's not here, so as we touch her, we'll just go and leave her with the Jennifer in the house. So our plan is, she said that she will give us 100,000 when she get the money from her boyfriend. Their boyfriend will give her, we should collect money. So I don't really know how much is that. I don't know how much she's going to collect, but in our discussion is she will give us 100,000.
She lured the girl. I don't know how she managed to get the number of the girl. She called the girl. She promised to give the girl a phone, according to her. So on that fateful day, on a Thursday like that, I was in the office when she called me that I should please come so that I will help open gate when the girl comes. And I foolishly accepted to come open the gate. So I came. When I came and I met this guy and one other guy there with her. I said, what's happened? She said she wants them to scare her when she comes so that she will not make noise, so that she will get information from the girl and then later call Edward, their boyfriend that they are dragging, to collect ransom.
Today's briefing is targeted at reaffirming the commitment of the command to the fight against crime and criminality in the territory as a way of encouraging the good people of the territory not to relent in cooperating with the police.
He said the suspect will be charged to court upon the conclusion of the investigation.
Nigerian journalists have been charged to redouble their effort in telling the Nigerian stories despite proliferation of social media that comes with challenge of fake news. National President of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Chris Isiguzo, stated this in Bauchi at the launching and book presentation to mark the exit of the former National Secretary of the Union, Shuaibu Usman, from active journalism. Adamu Imam completes the story.
The event, organized by the Northeast Zone of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, was to honor of Shuaibu Usman Lehman, who took a bow from the journalism profession after many years. National President of the Union said journalism was losing its agenda-setting status due to false narratives from the social media and urged practitioners to do more to uphold the dignity of the profession.
Ask my colleague journalists not to be consumed by this monster of fake news, so we are also engaging in that enlightenment so that because fake news has serious issues that go with it. Fake news can cause religious crisis. Fake news can cause tribal crisis, communal crisis. Fake news can cause political crisis.
The celebrant Shuaibu Lehman called on the younger generation of journalists to correct the ills in the profession by living above board during their years of active practice.
It will be a reference point for those who are coming behind us to improve upon the struggles we have done so far, and then it will serve as a guide for them to also chart a better course for the union. I know that over the years we have tried our best, although we have not succeeded in certain areas, especially in areas of improved salary and emolument for journalists, and then in areas of safety and security.
And away from Nigeria, defense ministers are gathered in Brussels to discuss more arms supplies and another 500 million euros from the bloc's budget for arming Ukraine, which is likely to be approved without issues. The ministers will be joined by NATO officials and the head of the European Defense Agency to hold a discussion about an investment gap analysis prepared by the Commission.
Then we are going to go about the situation in Ukraine. I will inform the ministers of the decision to increase with 500 more million euros the contribution from the European Union budget. Well, not European Union budget, strictly speaking, by the Intergovernmental Fund, European Peace Facility, which is managed by the member states.
With that, it's a wrap on Trust TV News Update. Thank you for watching. I am Ayuba Ilya. Bye for now.